Just wanted to do a little breakdown of Bernie Sanders' 2020 foreign policy platform. I just took these points off of his campaign's website. So, he wants to focus on democracy, human rights, diplomacy, and peace with regards to foreign policy. He also wants to He argues that no president should be able to wage war or wage unauthorized war, giving the war powers power back to Congress as is the legal standard. Congress should technically be the only entity who has the ability to authorize war. He doesn't want endless wars, so he wants to bring the troops home from Iraq and Afghanistan. He also wants to end the support for Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen, as that's kind of the biggest humanitarian crisis in the world currently. And our support for Saudi Arabia is a big reason why that's happening, because all of the kind of military aid that we give the Saudis. He also wants to rejoin the Iran nuclear deal that was established during the Obama presidency that Trump backed out of last year, and is definitely ratcheting up tensions to a very high level with Iran, and that's definitely not a good thing. It seems like the neocons are trying to push us into war with Iran. Also mentions wanting to work with pro-democracy forces around the world. So those were honestly the only kind of tenets on his foreign policy platform. And then to do a little bit more background research, he did in 2019 he did vote against the defense budget. He was one of 10 senators to do that. This was the budget, I think, that increased the military's budget by something like $80 billion a year. Some of the other senators that were running for president also voted against that. Senator Gillibrand from New York, Senator Harris from California, Senator Warren from Massachusetts, and Senator Booker from New Jersey. He voted for it. But there are some kind of more troubling spots with his foreign policy, from my opinion. He has been on record, I think it was an interview he did with Chuck Todd a while ago. He does support the use of drones in a, I forget how he phrased it basically, but he basically made it sound like they can be used in a precise way, but that's not true. More often than not, in drone strikes, those end up killing, civilians more often than not. And then also, he has talked about wanting to rein in the military-industrial complex, but he hasn't really talked about how much that's going to be. Is that, like a 10%, a 20%, or maybe like something, maybe it should be more like 50 or 70%, given that we spend more than 10 times on our military's budget than the next 10 countries combined, or maybe how many foreign military bases are we going to close? I think we have 180 or so military bases around the world, and the next country only has like a couple, so is he going to get rid of that stuff? So I'd like to see Bernie come out with a more kind of concrete plan of what that would look like. Obviously, this is a huge improvement over, say, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, but I think we also need to make sure we're pushing Bernie on the left on these issues, and that's why it's important that we support candidates like Tulsi Gabbard and Mike Gravel or Gravel, because they're really putting a lot of focus on this issue, which is super important, because the United States discretionary spending, over half of that goes to the military budget, and that's not really doing anything for us. So that's why we need to make sure we pressure Bernie on the left to get even more progressive on this issue. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Peace.
Get me out to my thing.
Huh?
Show me do my thing.